Hello, Daily Coaching Accountability Partners. David Alpert of Mastery Consulting, beautiful Palos Verdes, California. Okay, so several of you have asked me the same question. I'm new in the endeavor or business. I don't have a big database, past clients. What do I do in order to build my business? What steps should I take? What actions should I take? Interestingly enough, I don't think the actions are any different for you as they are for those of us that are watching this video that are intermediate or advanced in their endeavor. I don't think it's any different for me. So what I'm about to share with you are the 3 steps for flooding the funnel. You've heard them before, possibly on previous videos, but my question for you is, have you really heard it? Repetition is the mother of learning. Here we go. 3 steps. Ready? Step number 1, get leads. And when people ask me, well, what channel do you recommend for me to get leads? My answer is, who gives a, who cares? Get them, for Pete's sakes, right? For me, with me, I just hand business cards to people and say, do you have a business card? And then we put them in our multiple databases, right? Our LionVest CRM and Facebook business page and Instagram and LinkedIn, et cetera, right? And I just get them. When you meet people, whether they have business cards or not, you could just say, hey, Sue, can I get your phone number and your email? I just want to keep in touch with you. Put them in your database. Look, if they opt out at any point, you take them out. You're going to be adding more anyway. But all businesses begin with data. In other words, the more and the warmer that they are, the better off you are. Number 1, just get leads. And whatever marketing channels work for you are fine, but for Pete's sakes, get them everywhere you go anyway, from people that you know, your friends, your family, or if you do have past clients or neighbors or professional contacts here, et cetera. Okay, let's go to step number 2. And incidentally, as many of you know, what we do is we like to have them entered into not just our CRM, which happens to be LionVest, but also Facebook and the Facebook business page, et cetera. Okay, number 2, content to build community. This is where it gets interesting. How much interaction should there be with your database? And now, I came from running a company that did 800,000 emails a week, 550,000 pieces of direct mail a week, inbound, outbound call center, pay-per-click, SEO, confirmations team. And now I'm working with people that are like, should I make, is 2 contacts too much? How many emails? Oh my goodness, we're underthinking it in this case, right? For me, content to build community means we're in front of them daily. I have 2 methods for doing it that I recommend for you. Number 1 is, if you're utilizing social media, which I think is becoming more and more important, I like to post daily on Facebook. And I have someone copy that post into the Facebook business page and Instagram and LinkedIn and Twitter, okay? So in other words, all these different audiences could possibly see this stuff daily. We used to do several years ago 5 posts a day with photos of groups that I was coaching with tags all over the place. It was that intense. But right now we're just doing 1 per day, 5 days a week, but it gets in front of, people are likely to see some of our activity. Okay. So 1 is to utilize social media daily. There's a second strategy for doing this daily, which you might find a bit odd, but think about our program, this daily program that we have together. You've given permission to me to share videos, et cetera, with you every morning. So we're doing, Mondays through Fridays. Typically, we may be adding a little more on weekends, as you're probably going to notice here. But that's still, you've given me permission to market to you, I suppose, 5 days a week with content. It keeps you or keeps us in your mind, so that if someone approaches you about coaching or, consulting or whatever, it is more likely, you don't have to, but it is likely you might consider recommending us. I've mentioned this before, somebody in our program has reached out to her own database and said, look, I like to send out inspirational texts and videos each morning to my family members. Would you like to be on that? I'd love to share it with you. And she's up to nearly 100 people in her database that have given her permission to market to them daily. It doesn't mean you're asking for business daily. In fact, you're going to do that very rarely. But how brilliant is that? So a second way to keep in touch is to take a subset of your database and get their permission to keep in touch with them daily. What a wonderful idea. Now, additional to that, you can do traditional database marketing, like, whether it's a rhythm of 2 texts a month or 1 text a month and 1 email with a video a month, and maybe a handwritten note every 90 days or a pop by with a gift a couple times a year. Whatever you do with that, the most important thing is that it is in writing, it is a simple, concrete plan, and you have accountability around it. Otherwise, you ain't doing it. Okay, so content to build community is far more than this old-fashioned, ridiculous notion of 1 or 2 or 3 touches a month. That's your grandpa's marketing, if you know what I mean. Okay, step number 3 is the big one. Appointments. There's nothing more important to your business than appointments. The quantity of appointments you go on determines your success, and I don't care what the market is. I don't care what the economy looks like. It is all about appointments. you have no shot at doubling your business or increasing it by 30, 50% or more. You have no shot at doing it without significantly increasing the number of face-to-face appointments, sales appointments you go on. That's the whole game. In fact, step 1 and 2, the only purpose for getting leads and content to build community, is to get to step number 3. So how do we get to more face-to-face appointments? Well, step number 3 is daily messaging to ask for appointments, not closes. The purpose of a lead is not to close a transaction. The purpose of a lead is to get to the face-to-face appointment. And from there, good stuff's going to happen no matter what. Some will, some won't. So what? Move on, that kind of thing, right? But the exercise is to get to the face-to-face appointments and then share your value and your values, which we'll discuss in other videos. Okay, how do you do that? By sending direct messages. We like using text message through LionDesk, Facebook Messenger messages, Instagram direct messaging, and even LinkedIn emails. And actually, we'd like to do as many as 200 a day with our, you've seen it, all of you. It's the, might you be interested in getting some information about this $29 daily coaching accountability, blah, blah. That's our script. That's our script designed to book appointments, not to close anything, but to book appointments. Do you understand how the pressure comes off when you take it off closing and put your burden on just creating appointments? How much easier that is? Take the pressure off in your business. You're not going to double your sales anyway by trying to increase your close rate from 23 to 28%. That ain't going to change your business or your leverage or your life or quality of life. The only thing that will do it is if you're literally increasing radically over time the number of face-to-face appointments. So what you want to do is, if you're going to put pressure on anything, just go for the appointment. And that doesn't take any, that takes the pressure off, if that makes sense. So when we're sending out as many as 200 a day messages like that, and it's not all to, some of it might be LionDesk, some of it might be Facebook, some of it might be Instagram. We don't like to go back to the well to the same person in the same channel for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. But it doesn't mean that the same person won't see it through different channels. Whereas if you take the average person that I'm working with or coaching, how many messages do they send out on a daily basis? How about this one? How many messages do they send out on a monthly basis to create appointments? The answer is 0 for most of them. How on earth do you expect to build a business, right? So step number 3 is, and you must have a target for these numbers. Let's go back to step 1, get leads. As many of you know, I like to get 5 business cards a day. I have some people I'm working with that want to get 3 a day. I love that because you're still going to get to, 800, 900 in a year if you take out holidays and, and weekends. And that's still going to be something like 4,000 in 5 years, especially if you put them in the other databases, it's a big deal. So you have to target a number daily and go after it. It has to be first. Number 2, content to build community. Did you send out, did you put a social media post and then have somebody copy it into the other social media channels? Did you take a subset of your database and send them a daily message of some sort, whether it's personal or professional or inspirational or whatever? Keep it with them, right? That's number 2. And you must have a target for that. Number 3 is, how many messages did you send out daily to create appointments? We target 200 a day. We're crazy. We want to grow that to 400 a day in a couple of years if we keep getting leads, right? Why don't you start with something, for Pete's sakes, whether it's 10 messages a day or 20 with might you be interested in getting together for a latte, love to discuss this, whatever this expertise you might be willing to give away towards them, right? Those are the 3 steps for flooding your funnel. So when the question is, what should I do to build my business from scratch when I don't have a database or community? It's the same steps. Now it takes time. Database takes time. It has a popcorn popper effect where in the beginning, you'll feel like you're getting nothing for the effort, but over time, it is absolutely tremendous. I hope this was helpful. My question for you today in this long video is, what one activity in particular, or activities, will you tweak going forward in the year ahead in order to build your sales funnel? Hope this was helpful.